2. Hey, Addison, so talk to us about internal marketing. Tell me one or a couple tactics or strategies that will help bring in new patients or help us better utilize internal marketing.
All right. So when people think about marketing, obviously I'm a numbers guy, so I always think about my overall budget. You have maybe 4 to 5% in a healthy practice if you're trying to market actively. But no matter what, you should always be doing internal marketing. So that's going to eat up like 1 to 2% of your budget. So if you have a budget and you're thinking, okay, what do I do with this 1 to 2%? My main strategies, I do 3 to 4 major things that are really powerful. And my biggest goal in internal marketing is obviously happy patients, a great experience, but also then that they tell their friends and family, and we get more new patients. But if both of those are happening, the Google reviews follow. And so then, internal marketing bleeds into the external. So a metric of how I know we're doing a really good job internally is if I see that Google review count keep slowly clicking up. And for me, recently this year, our goal was to get to 1,200 Google reviews. We just hit that. And there's 3 things that I always do every week that are really great, and they're actually pretty cheap, and they're really easy to execute. So the first one, for new patients or for patients who are just the great ones of the day, if they really connected with a hygienist or whatever, we give them a bottle of wine, either like a red or a white. And we buy cheap little bags off of Amazon. So we drop the bottle of wine into the bag. We stick our logo sticker on the front of the bag. Kind of covers up the wine's logo. And people don't care what kind of wine they are, but we go to either Aldi or Trader Joe's and buy the $3 or $4 bottles. For quality, it's actually really pretty darn good. And so
Mhm.
have a few different like white, rosé, reds options, and then you put a little kind of gold ribbon wrap at the top of it. It makes it look super nice. It's a nice gift bag of wine. The greatest thing though is that when you get to the end of like a new patient appointment, and then you ask, hey, we love to give our new patients a bottle of wine. And they say, seriously, you're going to give me a bottle of wine? And I said, well, yeah, of course. We're going to give you a red bottle of wine so that you need tooth whitening later. And they chuckle, and it's a great way to end the appointment so that I can kind of walk out and transition out. But then they leave on a super high note. When patients leave on a high note, they're going to write you a Google review. They're going to text their friends. They're going to post it on social media. So it's awesome. The other thing, that we use is as a gift. And so if they don't drink wine, we give them a T-shirt. And so I'm wearing one of my T-shirts right now. It's actually called Velociraptor. And
Mm.
so it's a picture of a dinosaur with a floss in his teeth. And so we have these funny T-shirts that every 1 or 2 months we create a new logo T-shirt. And sometimes it's the skyline of the city. And, here in Nebraska, football's huge. So sometimes it's like a football T-shirt that you could wear to a football party or a game day. But it subtly has, your practice logo in it. And so for me, that's a little bit more expensive. So it's maybe $6 to $7 per T-shirt. And we have it rolled and it has a little sticker and we write the size on it. And so it's a little bit more expensive, but then it's a walking billboard for your practice. Not only is it a gift, but if as long as it's a nice quality T-shirt, patients are going to wear it around the community, wear it to the gym.
Mhm.
It's not going to be something they wear out on a nice evening, but if they wear it to the gym, more people see it. It's just a walking billboard for you. So that's a little bit more expensive, but it's a great gift. I see a lot of those T-shirts around town. And then the third one we do is a stainless steel mug. So we've had a couple different iterations of it. One was the coffee mug with a sippy top. Now we have the water bottle, more of like a hydro flask type thing. And we order these on Alibaba over from China. Order about 1,000 units at a time, and they come out to about $5 a piece, even with shipping and everything. So for $5,000, I get 1,000 of these mugs. I have to throw 900 of them into a storage unit, but essentially, then we start giving these out as well, and they have our logo on one side and our tagline on the other, and essentially that's something that a patient's going to use every day. You start to see those around as well, but they're pretty much like a Yeti, so people have the perceived value of like, wow, this is like a $25 mug, and so that's a pretty cheap way to get your your patient happy as they leave out the door because they're either getting a wine bottle, a t-shirt, or a Yeti. And it's just like, wow, I came to the dentist, but I'm leaving with something that has a really high value or is really cool or really funny. So that's what I do for internal marketing, and it's paid off well. Got a lot of Google reviews, and it's helped grow my startup to max capacity in about 3 years.
Nice. So when you your goal was to pass 1,200 Google reviews, right? When you did
Yeah,
that, do you normally also ask them like, guys, I would love it if you left me a review or no?
I actually don't even do that. So I just use the normal dental software that just texts them that evening to say, hey, like we'd love it if you wrote a review. But yeah, we don't even verbally actually ask for reviews almost ever.
Gotcha. Okay. And then out of those, like, how do you determine which one to give out when it comes to wine, t-shirts, like which to you, what has the best conversion or
Um, I I pretty much leave it up to the staff, and sometimes the staff asks the patients themselves, just like, "Hey, we give out a wine or a T-shirt or a stainless steel water bottle. Like, what would you like?" And the patient just gets to choose. And but sometimes we write in there like, "Hey, this patient likes wine," and so if they ever have a great experience in the future, or if we're making them wait too long, there's nothing like saying you're sorry with like, hey, here, I'm sorry, you had to wait an extra 15 minutes in the waiting room. Here's a bottle of wine. Oh, that patient's no
yeah,
longer pissed off at all. They're just like, oh, okay, you can make me wait again next time.
yeah,
And, they trot off the door. So it turns what could have been a really bad or even just an average or less than average patient experience, and it flips it to be like, oh wow, like even though I had to wait for the doctor, like this was amazing and they took care of me and they spent time with me. And so sometimes using a gift to actually flip a patient experience is powerful as well.
yeah. I know if I got a bottle of wine for waiting, because I'm normally I remember giving out like $5 Starbucks gift cards, right? Oh, sorry for waiting, sorry for waiting. They're like, okay, thanks, right? They kind of don't even think it, but a bottle of wine, it'd be different. It'd be like, oh man,
Yeah,
okay, it'd
it's got some
be
weight. It's got some weight to it. It's like something, yeah, you can't just stick it in your pocket. So
yeah, yeah. I like that. I like that a lot. With the t-shirts, when you see them around wearing your shirt, do you ever go up to them?
sometimes, yeah, if I know them, of course I have two other dentists here, so sometimes I don't know everybody, but like I saw my t-shirt at a concert and I didn't know who the person was, but I'm like, hey, that's a pretty darn cool looking t-shirt. But it was yeah, I try to I usually know the people if they go to my same gym, or if they're walking around, on a Husker game day or something, like usually I'll know them. But yeah, it's kind of cool though to see our t-shirts around. That's pretty powerful.
That's nice, man. What would you say, in your experience, has not been a good gift or giveaway? Something that didn't really do so well?
Um, we haven't tried really anything else. We've pretty much stuck with these same three. Um, I think the only way you could probably go wrong is if you either give something that seems cheap, because that might backfire on you, or if something that you're actually spending too much money. I
Mhm.
think one thing that, and some state laws, are against this, like if somebody refers a patient and you give them a gift card or like, oh, a $50 in office credit. So some state laws are against that. But if you were to incentivize them too much to refer a patient, I think that actually backfires. So if you were to say, oh, send your friend in and I'll give you $50, I might feel a little slimy about that. And I might be like, well, that seems weird if I don't want to benefit from just sending my friend in. Whereas if it's such a small, bottle of wine or a t-shirt, something, if it's that small, then people will convince themselves that they are doing it because they really like the dentist, and hopefully they do. But it's just kind of priming the pump, though, if you give that beforehand. And they'll just be like, oh, it was a great experience. They gave me a bottle of wine. It was good. They'll just mention that. And it's not going to be driven by any reciprocity. It's actually, they're going to be doing it because they've convinced themselves that they made that decision on their own. And they're just being a good friend to their new dentist who gave them a bottle of wine. So,
Yeah. Got you. What about like those returning, like, your existing patients, the returning patients who
Mhm.
are always coming and things like that, and they haven't left a review or they've never given you a referral? I think that's where it kind of comes in. Like, I know they have friends, they have family. I want to give them an incentive. Should we do that? Be like, hey man, give me 50, I'll give you $50 if you, or no.
Um, you know, I think there's probably a silent majority or a silent plurality of people who just aren't reviewers, and that's totally okay. I don't keep too close a track of that to know. And so I don't ever try to pinpoint those, just because I'd rather be focused on kind of the bigger picture of, okay, am I just doing the best that I can with like the small dollar items? I guess I'm playing Moneyball. If I can get the most like singles and doubles with kind of the major things that are super easy that actually as a dentist, I don't even have to worry about. I just let my team give away stuff all the time. And my team just tells me like, hey, we're out of t-shirts. Let's order more t-shirts. And so that's about the only thing that I have to kind of keep an eye on is, okay, what's going on here or there. And when it's that level of focus that I like to maintain. Whereas if someone's either in an age demographic or just a normal kind of emotional state that's like, I don't like to write Google reviews or whatever, that's totally cool. And that's probably, kind of a bulk of the patients we see every day are like, well, yeah, this is my dentist, but they're great, but I'm not going to write a review. And so for me, I'd rather just be like, okay, I'll move on and I'll get a raving review from someone who is like a raving fan.
Yeah, got you. As a startup or acquisition, can you go higher on your marketing budget? Would you recommend that or?
Yeah, so when I was a startup, we actually for the first year we spent 15% of revenues on
Mm.
marketing. And the second year we backed it down to 10, and then the third year, I mean, we've tried to spend 5, but it's actually been pretty difficult because we've actually kind of turned off marketing because we're just so full. And so we get like 130 to 170 new patients a month on like
Wow.
3% of marketing. But mostly, it's because we've created just a really positive environment internally. And when I'm glad this is about all internal marketing because I think your internal marketing return for investment is just so much better than anything you could do externally. Like you buying Google ads, buying billboards, buying radio ads should all be secondary to the internal marketing. Like your internal is by far and away the best investment. And when you spin that, you know, like Jim Collins talks about the flywheel. You start spinning the flywheel. If you have a happy patient interaction, you almost can't help but have them tell their friends. And if they tell their friends, you almost can't help but have more new patients. And if you keep spinning that flywheel, you almost can't help but have to buy your building and kick out everybody else because you're going to expand your clinic because you're full. And so I think that's what's great about maybe even if you're an existing practice, try spending 15% on marketing for a couple months and see where it gets you because you might be like, oh, that's the kickstart you need to really start to get a positive push or a rebranding. Like, just putting more energy into the marketing might totally get you a kick that would be super powerful going forward.
I love that, man. That's awesome. Awesome, Addison. I appreciate your time. And if anyone has further questions, you can definitely find them on the Dental Marketer Society Facebook group, or where can they reach out to you directly?
Yeah, AddisonKilleen.com. And you can see any of my books on Amazon.com as well.
I know, guys. I'm gonna put a link to all that in the show notes below. He has amazing stuff. I think you just came out with one, right? Another one?
Yeah, we did last fall. We did the associate manual for people who are going to hire a dental associate, and then this summer we came out with a marketing manual. So it goes through kind of actually all my marketing stuff that I used in my startup.
Nice. So, guys, that's going to be in the show notes below. So, definitely check that out. And, Addison, thank you so much for being with me on this Monday morning marketing episode.
Yeah, you're welcome.